When I talk to people in Los Angeles about Boeing and the Santa Susana Field Lab, one of California's worst radioactive and toxic Superfund sites, people can be skeptical. They just don't think that it could really be as bad as we make it out to be. But be skeptical no more, because actually it's worse than bad. You know those mobile buildings that they use at schools sometimes for classrooms? Well, in 2005, Boeing took mobile buildings from one of the hottest areas at the Santa Susana Field Lab, Area 4. This is where one of America's worst nuclear meltdowns occurred, plus 3 other reactor incidences. There were fires in the hot labs, spills and leaks in the radioactive waste management facility, an open air burn pit, and a plutonium and a uranium fuel fabrication facility. I'm not making this up. Boeing decided to recycle these mobile buildings from Area 4 and donated them to Shandon High School in Central California. They should have been sent to low-level radioactive waste facilities. That would have been safe. But it also would have cost Boeing money. Okay, so I'm purposely not using his name, but I know the guy who put 2 and 2 together and got those buildings away from students. His dad had worked at the Santa Susana Field Lab, and he had visited when he was a kid. So when he went there to check the buildings, he recognized them. He did his research and he proved that they were from Area 4. So he blew the whistle and sounded the alarms, but nobody would listen to him. Finally, he ended up calling Senator Barbara Boxer. But the thing that actually got these out of the school was he called up the insurance company of the school district. And he said, I've told you that these are from the Santa Susana Field Lab and from the radioactive area. And if kids start getting cancer, you will now be liable because you know. And the next morning, the buildings were gone. And he was right. I mean, kids would have gotten cancer from this. Kids and teachers, because they spend hours at a time and they would have been irradiated from these buildings that were radioactive. If it hadn't been for this man's determination to protect kids, children would have gotten preventable cancer. So instead of spending the money to dispose of these low-level radioactive buildings, Boeing tried to get a tax write-off, even though it meant kids getting cancer. That's just Boeing's style. They did it then, they're doing it now. Boeing plans to leave 90% of the Santa Susana Field Lab contaminated even after they do their cleanup. And then they're going to donate it to the public as a park. I'm sure they'll get a nice big fat tax write-off for it, but that's only if we don't stop them. So would you help us like, share, save, spread the word? Help us fight back against the Boeing company from their reckless disregard for public health.